We talk about agentic AI. That's the kind of the term that everyone's using these days around what we're doing.
Oh, like the agent, you mean?
It's actually creating agents that will do work for you.
This is getting so crazy.
The speed with which it's advancing is astonishing.
How do you think that AI in general is going to affect like kids in schooling? If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or someone that's trying not to be left behind, listen up. Joining me today is Scott McIsaac and Len Landale, founders of Helios Core, and they are going to blow the lid off of what AI is actually capable of. They are building platforms that are replacing jobs, accelerating operations, and scaling businesses faster than you can imagine. This conversation shows you that you're either going to boss up or bot out, because if you get too comfortable, your competition is going to hire their own digital army and leave you in the dust. This is integrating the most complex AI systems to really build a legacy out of your business, but also a legacy from your life to leave behind for your family. Their newest platform is not bringing people back from the dead, but also offers a new way to keep the memories of your loved ones alive for a lifetime. So Scott and Len, thanks so much for meeting with me today to talk about Helios Core and all the AI things that we all are dying to know.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Yeah. So I want to start with the hardest question, which is really just the story of how you guys got into this and where it all started.
Yeah. So we've told this story a lot recently because everyone's curious. So Len and I have worked together for maybe 20 years. We worked in a previous company called Secure 24 where I was the fourth employee there. Len was like the 10th or 15th, something along those lines. And we kind of led that business all the way to a sale to NTT in 2018. NTT is a giant Japanese telco.
$100 billion global organization,
Oh, okay.
massive company.
And so we stayed on board post-acquisition. I ran their whole managed cloud practice, which is like 4,000 people globally, and Len ran their application practice. Well, as you can imagine, with a $30 billion company, you get stuck in the corporate mindset, and it's hard to get things done. So we started talking maybe a year and a half ago at this point about, let's go do something. We want to start a business. But we didn't know what. At that point, we're like, we can go do this managed cloud thing again and just repeat what we already did, but it's a very crowded space. So we're like, okay, AI coming out to where it is today, this would be a good place to get into. So we launched in January officially, the business, with the idea that we were going to help companies scale and build AI into their businesses, more through education and training. But that kind of changed over the last couple months. When we started, we had no intention of building a platform. And, for everyone that doesn't know what that means, is a platform is really the back end that runs all of this different AI systems and components that are out there. So we built a platform, and the platform allows us now to scale those AI agents into companies much faster. So we can take, a company from 0 to 100% implementations in somewhere around 90 days, which allows us to get those AI agents out there very quickly. So the idea now is, how do we build, scale, and then ultimately run AI for companies at scale? We look at AI today as very much where cloud technologies were about 10 years ago, and cloud meaning like Amazon, Azure, Google, those types of companies. They're very complex. It was very expensive to use. People didn't know how to use it. AI is no different. And so we lead a company through beginning to end through that kind of, education to use case development all the way to AI agent scale.
Yeah, I think the other big thing that we realized early on, like Scott was saying, we started out with this kind of consulting mindset that we would, help,
just individually consult.
Yeah, help companies understand what was going on, because there's just a lot of change, right? So in the AI space, with it moving so quickly, not having a managed services component where we can help them get adoption of what we deploy, change it over time.
Right, scale with it.
Scale with it, change it over time. They're going to deploy, hopefully something that's providing value right away at day one, but their business is going to change. They're going to get new software in their application stack. They're going to get new customer demands that are going to change what they're using it for.
Okay, like kind of as it grows, you grow. It grows with them.
Yeah. Yep. And it could start with a very simple use case. It could be, I need to replace my customer service with a voice agent. So I want to be able to call in, take calls, schedule meetings or schedule, rental equipment for one of our customers, which I think Andy's been on here before with you
Andy
guys,
was on. He talked about Operation Randy.
Yeah, so we're building Randy for him. But those are very kind of the tip of the iceberg type projects.
Right.
You can go all the way from these simple use cases down to really embedded, deep workflow and
operational AI.
Operational
really
AI that's
working in the business.
Yeah.
Integrated with SAP and different ERP systems, and to really be able to scale that into the business and drive real value. So we like to kind of lead with the simple use cases to start with. That way companies kind of get the feel for what it can be and how it could impact their business from a cost savings perspective, from a revenue growth perspective, and then scale from there.
Right, and it can kind of get more complex as they need it.
Yeah, more complex. It can be more knowledgeable, right? Again, if you start with one element of your business, right? Say inbound calls to answer questions or what you do.
And this is working really well. What can it do with, your numbers?
Yeah,
well,
it already knows something your business too then. So then it's easier to port it to the next use case and say, to your point, well, maybe if it knows, all of our products because it has to answer questions about them. Well, then it can help analyze. Yeah, it can do ordering or can do financial analysis of those products and some of that.
And I'll ask you this question too, Brittany. Like, when you hear AI, what does that mean to you? What do you think when you hear AI?
I mean, I use AI every single day, but I probably don't use it. I'm sure there's way more intense ways to use it than I use it, but I use it every day just because it saves so much time for me. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm running out of steam and I just need some creative ideas, or I need I don't know, to redirect some way. It's AI can do so many things.
Yeah, you use it for ideation and coming up with new ideas or bouncing ideas off of it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So think about if you could take, a lot of the chatbots that are out there today, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, they're very generic.
Yeah, basic.
Right? So we can take those and we can customize them to your exact business with your data to make it, know as much as it possibly can about your business and what you're trying to do.
So your next chat could have all of the history of things that you've sold or market trends.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But then if you, expand that to operational AI, your orders example, right? Well, it's got to have tools to call to make the orders. It's got to know what financial limits it should have, right? It's really hiring a new employee and training them.
And then it's also going to be able to give you the info on demand, how many people are buying this specific product, but also if prices increase or prices decrease, your margins too. So it's
what if scenarios.
It's a one person does everything but never forgets anything.
Right, and works all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the conversational aspect of it. When we talk about agentic AI, that's the kind of the term that everyone's using these days around what we're doing.
Oh, like the agent, you mean?
It's actually creating agents that will do work for you. So you may say, hey, I need to do this campaign to reach out to my clients. Go send emails to these 50 people, with whatever details you need behind it, and it will go in action and do that for you. So it's the intelligence behind the AI. So it's more than just a chatbot. It's actually taking action against what you're asking it to do.
So it's doing the action instead of just giving you the answer.
Yeah. Correct.
So it's really working for you.
Yeah,
because if you paid an assistant, but they're not going to spell anything wrong,
right?
Or have an attitude.
It's a perfect assistant, for sure.
Yeah. But that's again the personal task level, right? If you take that and extrapolate it to more like the business process level, right? And if you're a larger organization, small businesses can take advantage of it, but larger corporations who have 1,000 people doing one of those
and then
roles,
especially if you're paying someone hourly or you're paying 1,000 people to do a job, it's you're really only paying one person to do all of it all the time.
Right. Right, exactly. Yeah, with high accuracy and
Right. The other place that we're seeing a lot of agentic use cases in actually developing applications too. So we use AI coding agents today in our business to help us build faster. And they're getting really good to the point where you can give a task to these coding agents and they will go and write the code for you. Now, that being said,
is that a real person or is that an AI?
No, it's AI.
An AI agent.
It's AI. Yeah. So you have to really
know what you're doing
when you're doing it. You can't just, there's something called vibe coding, and sure, you can vibe code apps all day, but at the end of the day, they're probably not going to be production scale ready. Yeah. So you need to know what you're doing. But we're able to give tasks to our AI agent that will go out and build certain modules of our application. And it just helps us with scale much quicker. So, we see that as kind of, again, it's a very simple use case, but it's wildly impactful to the businesses.
It's crazy how smart AI is getting. Because it's I feel the first time I heard about it was maybe a year and a half ago, which I'm sure it was around way before that. But it was like writing your listing description. And I'm like, oh, that's so like nice. But then like they're doing things like this and it's like, this is getting so crazy.
The speed with which it's advancing is astonishing. And we're deep in it, right? Like every day we're using it, we're developing, we're solving business problems, we're listening to podcasts and understanding what's coming. And it's the speed with which it's advancing is hard to fathom. How quickly it's changing, how much
I read some article, which I probably just read the title of the article, but it was something that was like, if you say thank you to the chat GPT, it starts to get smarter. Is that real?
No,
it's costing lots of money.
It's burning money.
It's costing money?
Yeah, so Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, said something like people saying please and thank you to ChatGPT is burning millions of dollars in computational resources and
really?
energy and everything else because it's got to respond to your thank you.
Yes.
Well, that takes power and compute and everything else.
So don't say thank you anymore.
I don't know.
I guess who cares? It's not my money.
If it comes alive.
It depends if AI comes alive and if you want to be killed or not.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was talking to like this marketing guy that was working for me and he's like, I like to say thank you because just in case like we get taken over by aliens, like I was nice.
That's real.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you guys probably hear myths like that all the time too.
Well, I mean, it's not just myths. The, like leading AI scientists that were responsible for all the groundwork to create this have, some level of fear and anxiety that when it gets smart enough, right? If it's not aligned to what's good for us, well, by definition, it's not good for us at that point, right? So if it becomes misaligned and or used by factions within society that don't like one or the other, it becomes a powerful tool to do bad things, right? So
it's
I think there is a real
you create medicine, it's supposed to cure diseases, and then now you have drug addicts and all these people that are having secondary illnesses from medications or are addicted to opiates because they were subscribed, you know what I'm saying, or prescribed something.
There's definitely risks to it.
Yeah, right? It's like one of those things intended for good that could benefits. You never know what's coming. Yeah.
The term that everyone's saying is called artificial general intelligence.
Wait, is that AGI?
AGI.
I wrote that down. I said, what is AGI?
So AGI is when AI is smarter than humans.
Oh, really?
That's the idea.
Generally about everything,
yes.
which
they probably already are.
I mean, there's still a lot of human in the loop requirements. So basically, what that means is like, I need to be in there and monitoring what it's doing because sometimes it makes bad decisions. Like we allow, if you email our persona is Celeste. We created a virtual assistant called Celeste. She's on there. She does our videos. She's our, she's on our website, everything. But if you email her, we let her respond to emails. We don't really control it too much.
A human in the loop. We get copied, so we can see what she's doing, but we're not going to approve every one of them.
Yeah. And we've seen some really funny responses to her. Like sometimes she'll get spam from like Microsoft as an example. Like, hey, you should use Office 365 or whatever. And she'll respond back to it with, hey, thanks, Microsoft. We'll go out there and we'll absolutely use Office 365. You should buy Helios services.
You should set up a meeting with our founder.
Oh my gosh.
We're like, good job. Back to the AGI point. Maybe it's better than the average human, but it's not better than
That's probably true.
Humans.
It's probably better than the average.
Probably better than the average, but if you look at the high-level scientists in a research field, it's not necessarily there, but it's actually getting there, which means if you can get it there in all those fields of creativity and science, well, maybe we're not that far off from AGI.
We could not have launched our business as fast as we did without it. I mean, it built our website content. It built blog posts for us. And obviously we're prompting it, so we have the knowledge behind it. But it's iterating creative, and we're iterating within writing it. There's no way we could have launched as fast.
It just gives you speed.
I made the whole podcast with AI. Because I was like, I'm not techie at all. You can probably tell by how I'm asking these questions. But I was like, okay, how do I start a podcast? I'm like asking how to set it up. Like obviously I know how to talk and buy microphones and whatever, but like as far as setting up the platform of the podcast and how does it pull from like one thing onto Apple or Spotify or whatever it is, I just asked AI and then I would come somewhere where I couldn't figure it out and I'm like, it's saying this, I don't know what that means, and then it would help me like get to the next. It took me like probably like a day to just sit down and like uninterrupted and just
and I think that's one of the powerful things about it. So everyone's concerned about all the jobs are going away.
Yeah.
Right. And there's definitely going to be some impact, right? To the point I made about if there's 1,000 people doing a task in a business and you can take 30% of that work and do it with an agent, well, that means 30% of that workforce doesn't need to do that job anymore. Now, some people would say what they're doing, they could do the other 70% a lot better, right? So why not just refocus them on the other 70%?
Or go spend 30% of their time on something else.
Right.
We're not saying that you need to fire all your people because
Right.
AI is there, but if it can make you more efficient on task and allows those people to go do other things that they don't have to do the busy work, I think that's how businesses start to work.
Yeah, I
Of
mean, I'm
positive,
just thinking
hopefully,
of
right?
1,000 employees. It's like, are all of them that good though? You probably want to get rid of 30%.
Yeah,
I mean, I've had
some
employees
some
before,
companies
it
are
was
definitely
horrible.
going to take that approach and just take the cost savings.
Yeah.
Right. So that's going to be part of it. But I think others are going to take the approach of saying, let's get better at what we
Right.
do, or refocus them on more productive tasks.
Yeah,
but
and
it-
put those people into exploring new avenues.
Yeah, if you
for sure.
gave them the tools and said, okay, well, great, now you're responsible for launching this new thing that, like you
You
just
have
said,
time
you
to do
used it
now.
for.
Yeah.
You went through and it walked you through this thing you didn't know how to do, but you accomplished that goal. Well,
Mm-hmm.
imagine taking 30% of your staff and saying, you don't know how to do this thing, but here's your little buddy, and
Yeah.
he knows everything. Just go ask him it, but go accomplish this goal.
Yeah.
Right. So if individuals like you are launching podcasts or doing other things that they couldn't have taken on without
Right.
that assistance,
Yeah.
if every company is
makes a
doing
lot
that
of
across
things
the board,
possible,
then
for
there's a
sure.
lot more possibilities.
They're talking about now, like in the future, what will the future life look like? Will you have a device that everyone has that's your assistant, your personal assistant, actually doing things where you can, not like what Alexa or one of those is today,
Yeah.
where it can answer questions, like actually being able to go and action things. You just have a device that sits on your desk or you wear, right? That can,
Yeah.
do that. So I think that's where it's going to be interesting.
Is that starting, or you're just thinking that's the future?
I think that's where it's going to end up. I mean, OpenAI just made that investment into, what was that company called? IO. Yeah.
IO for the
which
wearable
is,
device.
which is the Johnny Iovine, the Apple guy, the
Apple product developer.
I forget what his name is. So
Johnny something.
yeah, Johnny something.
Ive.
But either way,
Johnny
he built some device, and they're very secret about what the device is. They haven't really talked about it, but everything is going to be a personal assistant that's always with you.
Yeah.
Think about how you have a phone now.
Mm-hmm.
You may just have this device that can do everything. Because how often do you make phone calls?
That's kind of actually a lot with my job.
Yeah,
But,
you maybe you, but me,
I guess
don't know.
that does make sense too, because a lot of times I'll get like a text from an agent that's like, "Hey, can you forward me the HOA bylaws for a listing?"
Yeah, just
and
do
it's
it
like
for you.
my agent person would already
Have
my
that
agent
access
person
and-
my agent
Yeah.
device. I don't even know what to
Agent
call it.
thing.
That would already
Just
have all
agent.
the info in there, so I could just find it and send it
Well,
instead of me
you
being
wouldn't
like
even have to
driving
find
to
it.
football practice, like trying to find in my email where the you know what I'm saying?
But you wouldn't even have to find it and send it.
Right, it would just already be in there.
Watching your text and watching your email and listening to the voicemails,
And
and it
being
would
like,
go,
"This is it," yeah.
I can take action on this. Maybe it asks you for approval.
Right.
It goes, hey, I found this document. I'm going to send it. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You just say, yeah, go. Or you give it the autonomous action and let it do it on its own.
Right.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean, you're starting to see some of this stuff even in the retail space right now. Like, hey, help me shop, right? What do I need to buy? So we just announced a big partnership with Kronk Boxing, and if you're not familiar with Kronk Boxing, it's like the Detroit brand for boxing. It's been around forever, but it kind of went dormant for a few years. So
Okay.
they're bringing it back right now, and they've got a few fighters. But we're going to be starting with a kind of a retail agent for them that will go out and you can ask questions to it. It'll integrate about your order. Eventually, it'll make recommendations, like you can tell it your body type, and this is the kind of clothes you should buy from them. And we have a lot of ideas to make that even more advanced in the future. And then that'll pivot into like sports analytics and performance and things like that around the boxing industry. But what you're starting to see is a lot of these retail websites have these devices or these chat bots now that you can go to and ask tons of questions about it, and it'll give you good insight into what you should buy and how you should buy it too. So
Yeah. So like personal assistant shoppers, but at scale.
Yeah.
Right? Like everyone who's on the website can have one, and it's interacting with them about their particular
Yeah.
usage, as opposed to, calling the company and being like,
And
hey,
asking, yeah.
yeah.
No, that's crazy. Okay, what do you think was like one of your biggest takeaways or words of advice from leaving a huge corporation to starting your own?
Well, I mean, I felt when we did it, I felt like there was 1,000 pounds lifted off my shoulders. Because you get into this mindset of in corporate life where, everything's a slide deck, everything is internally focused. You forget about what's important, which is the customer and the end user. So for us, when we left, it was like a breath of fresh air. We're actually talking about something that's ours again. We're talking about how we really help people and help our customers scale.
Real customer problems.
Yeah, solving real problems.
Going back to, where we came from and starting with a, small founder-run business and growing it to a pretty large business that was sold, that whole process of, helping companies find their cloud solution in that world, right? And in this world, their AI solution. solving their problems and being intimately involved with the success of those, those projects to bring them to fruition. We both got away from that. We ran large teams. There was lots of people still in our organizations doing that, but we felt disconnected from it. And just because of the necessity of corporate life,
Yeah,
right?
like you have to keep doing it.
You got to, you just got to focus on the financials. And
we don't care if you like it. You have to do it.
There was good parts to it as well. I mean, I traveled the world, met with teams. I had teams in South Africa, Spain, India, like all over the planet, and got to go out and meet amazing people.
Yeah,
and
great
see
people,
amazing
great places.
things, and experience, that lifestyle. But at the end, it just gets old. It's hard. It's really hard to do that, especially if you're not in it fully, where you're, being able to like help clients every day. I mean, that's to me what's important. I mean, when we built this business, it was the number one pillar of our success is our client.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure you feel more of an impact on helping others when you're doing it for your own.
Well, it's just more exciting to help solve the problems too.
Been really difficult too.
Oh yeah.
So
if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Right. But the thing that we found, is our backgrounds come from apps and cloud world. So our connections in that space are apps and cloud people,
right?
CIOs of businesses and things like that. So we always get approached about doing the old life again. And we're really trying to stay away from that because we don't want to get sucked back into that. And so it's hard finding the right client that exactly needs what we want to, what we're trying to build for them. And, I think both of us underestimated how much work it's really going to be. I mean, these podcasts like this is for us to get our name out there to more people so and show what we're really capable of. But as a startup, it's you're hustling every day.
And you're also like throwing everything at the wall and just seeing what sticks. And then once something sticks, you're like, okay, let's go with this. And then you hit
100%.
another roadblock and
try
you're
something
like,
else.
okay, now I guess we're going to go this way. Like there's no real map.
Yeah.
Our AI agent, we had, the voice agent that we built, we had no intention of building a voice agent. There's all kinds of voice agents out there.
Right.
But we found is none of them are any good. Like, they're fine for, simple use cases. But when you get into the complexity, like what Andy really requires and all these different tool callings and configurations and all this different stuff, like they don't solve that problem, so we had to build it.
Well, and it gives us control over security and data and things that companies that we know we're going to care about from our background, right? So a lot of companies are jumping in with both feet in some of these agent platforms or voice platforms that are, then ingesting that data into their platform or using it, or there's a lot of companies that we talk to that are concerned about that security and ownership and data sovereignty that we can then help address. Because we've built the platform.
But looking back on the last 6 months, I mean, I wouldn't change anything. It's been
Really?
awesome. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing experience just to kind of figure out how do we take nothing into something.
I mean, especially in 6 months. Like when you said you started in January, I'm like, oh, it's really new.
Yeah.
It's definitely ups and downs, but again, wouldn't change it for the world because we're excited about doing it as opposed to kind of like you don't want to glide through life, right? That's not what it's about. You want to be passionate about what you're doing.
Well, and we got hands-on again and stuff. I mean, I'm coding stuff, I'm building things, Len's coding stuff and building things.
Learning all
and
the things.
Our developers are yelling at us about the stuff we're building.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
Maybe not for them, but for us.
Right. And so you guys are also starting another, I don't know if it's a platform, AI platform? Was that what you would
It's
call
like
it?
a use case of our current platform.
Okay.
So when we were talking to the CEO of Kronk, he was talking about his vision of his gym that they're going to be building down in Detroit. And one of those things was he wants to do something with Emmanuel again. Emmanuel was the original founder of Kronk. He passed away a few years ago. And we're like, well, could we bring back his persona?
His voice.
Oh, so that's how it all started.
Yeah, so that was the initial idea. And Scott did some testing. It was really quite good, but it was just answering questions.
Right.
And then we said this to some people like in our network and they're like, wow, like that's awesome. You could really do that with this technology. And we're like, yeah. And then started talking about people they've lost and like, wow, it'd be great if I could talk to that person again. We're like, they're like, could you do that? We're like, yeah, we could totally do that. And we've both lost parents. Yep. And, we find ourselves calling their voicemail after they've passed and listening to their voice. And
I don't. I'm a robot.
Yeah, well, I did. I did. I called my dad's voicemail and my mom's. But you convey that story to people, and they're like, yeah, we did that too. Like, it was very common to
it's something that you think
connection.
you do that's weird, but everybody else is like, wait, I do that
like,
too.
Yeah, I did that because it was just a way to keep that connection.
Right.
And so I talked to my dad a little bit about this when I started building it, because we used my mom as the example. Like, I'm like, I can bring my mom back. I can bring the persona back. And so
Like a robot would
Miranda,
do.
my wife, had like 8 voicemails from my mom
That she saved.
that she still had on her phone for some reason.
That's awesome.
And so I took them and I used them to train the voice. And the first iteration was, well, the voice kind of sounds like her. It's, pieces of it I could hear her, pieces I couldn't. So I kept working on the voice training, and I wrote the code to be able to do this more efficiently. And I got to the point where I'm like, wow, this thing actually sounds like her now.
Yeah.
And so I showed it to my dad, and my dad's like, this is amazing. So he started sending me stories of her, like just like things on how they met and all this kind of thing. So I'm like, man, I could build a memory system around this. I can have it so it can recall these stories and recall, those life memories and be able to replay those back in certain ways and
incorporate them into the way it interacts too. So it's a little bit more real.
With the intelligence of an LLM, so a large language model like OpenAI, it can then take those stories in and it can replay them back in her voice in the way that it wants to say them. So it's like her saying those stories.
Right, like her personality almost.
So it's just not reading a story. It's taking the story and then it's interpreting it and then spitting that story back. And so we're like, man, we can really build this to help people. We got connected into the grief world a little bit through a connection up in Traverse City. And she's like, this is a great idea, but you got to be careful because some people in that space when they're grieving won't let go and they'll never get out of that.
Oh yeah,
So,
they like stay there.
Yeah.
So we're trying
we
to
want it to be a tool to help people, but not be detrimental.
I think it's also cool because like I love a memoir or like some kind of autobiography that somebody like I just finished Matthew McConaughey's. I don't know if you guys read that one. It was really good. But it's cool too because then you could like have their life story
The
and
red
they
light,
could
green
even
light
like
one?
read it like a what was that?
It was the red light, green light book. Is that the one?
It's
you're
called
talking
Green Lights. Yeah,
Green
it's
Lights.
like it's
Yeah, I read
about
it.
that. But they could almost share their whole story. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? If somebody had that much information on them in their voice.
Think about if your
But
kids
also-
have never met your mom or
Right.
something like that. They can talk to her and they can get ask her questions about life and how she looked at the world and how they envisaged it. So we think
Or like life lessons that she learned from something hard.
So while the grief space is something that we think it can help people during the process and that transition out of it, we think that the use case is really going to be more for just being able to bring back that persona and have a conversation like, oh, I just got a new job. I want to ask my dad about this, what he thinks about this. And, with the knowledge that it gains, that it can give you an opinion. Is it him? No, of course it's not him. It's entertainment.
It's a comforting thing.
But think about it. It's also the modern way to preserve stories. So like, from a generational perspective, our parents' generation versus our generation versus our kids, right? Our parents' generation had photo albums, right?
Right.
And you sat around the table and you looked at photo albums and grandma told the story about that photo.
Or newspaper articles.
Right? Or whatever it was,
Yeah.
some memory, and it triggered some story. And then if you were there at the time, you got that passed down, shared experience, right? Well, of course, we grew up where there's a lot more photos, but they're all digital, right? So when do you ever sit down and like, hey kids, let's scroll through my photos from 12 years ago and I'll tell you stories. You don't, right? So there's the experience that we had probably growing up that's very different than our kids. And this is a way that, because it's voice, because there's a lot more interaction to it, it's a way to preserve those stories too. So if you create the persona for a loved one and you give, either they do it, right? They create it and they give the stories, which would be ideal because then they're preserving their memories and their stories and how they remember them. But we're building also the ability of this kind of community to come and add stories too.
Right.
So if my mom went on, a trip to the Grand Canyon with my aunt that I never heard the story about, but my aunt gave that story to the model, then I ask her something later and she
She's gonna
relives
remember
that story
yeah.
and references back to the trip that she took. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I never knew that. Right. There's an ability to bring all this community in from
Yeah.
different friends and family members too, which would be pretty powerful from a legacy perspective, from
Yeah.
keeping that kind of legacy around.
No, I think that's so cool.
So it's been kind of a bit of a journey to build it, and it's been fun just because it was something that neither one of us have really done before.
Yeah, just to play around and see, and then you're like, actually, this is really good.
Yeah. At first, when my mom
And
started speaking to me,
and
I'm
helpful.
like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
This is cool.
That's
Well,
cool
and
too,
the
because then
feedback
it's,
is-
but it's also like sometimes I think somebody in your family holds all the stuff and then loses it, or they die and you don't know, or like
Yeah.
their stuff just gets lost.
Yeah.
It's a virtual memorial at this point. You
Right.
can put those memories and stories, and we can probably open it up and you can put pictures in and all kinds of different things where it can recall those things too. And so, like, hey, tell me about that time we went to the Grand Canyon. To your point, well, here's some pictures. Remember these?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when you were this old and blah 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 blah. Like, it's
Yeah, the potential is
pretty
pretty
crazy.
pretty amazing. So
That's so much going on in 6
So,
months.
Yeah.
we're getting ready to launch it. There's a
Yeah, so
website
it's-
out there now.
Yeah, it's going to be called Kokoro, which is a Japanese word for mind, body, and soul.
Cool.
And so, yeah, it'll be mykokoro.ai. It'll be the website. So,
Awesome. We'll put that in the show notes too. Okay. This is kind of just like, you hear myths all the time. I don't know if you guys can debunk them or just give us some real info
Or
on it.
confirm them.
Because honestly, I obviously had that other one mixed up. But what jobs do you think are being eliminated by AI the quickest? Like, obviously customer service.
Yeah, customer service, a lot of the, call it the lower end task workers. If you just do a task every day and that task can be automated, I think that's where you can start eliminating those positions again. But again, we also think about not eliminating it, but how do you shift the work onto something else, focus on something else. We're seeing, a lot in the coding space, call it junior level coders. I mean, you still need to have senior level guys and mid level guys that understand what they're doing, but you'll start seeing
Companies have always been trying to get more efficient. So that's been out there in the technical world for a long time. That was already gone.
Accountants or like attorneys even. Like,
yeah,
are
that's
any of
that's
those?
what I think I'm saying
paralegals,
is the risk of
stuff
those.
that the researching side of
Yeah.
the business, like that kind of stuff starts going away.
Yeah.
I think
It's that level
But-
above task automation. So task automation's gone because it's already been out there for a while. The people that were doing the step above that to this research or kind of the entry level roles, that's I think what's at risk.
But every time one of these revolutions happens, I mean, this is really kind of the fourth wave. Like think about, during the .com, you had the internet come. Oh man, the internet's going to take all these jobs away. And then you had mobile and mobile to cloud, and that changed the way how business operated. Take Uber as an example. Before you had to hail a cab, and you had all these yellow taxis driving around everywhere, and now you use an app on your phone and. You still have cab drivers. They're just Uber
less of them
drivers,
too.
right? And but you don't have that kind of yellow cab necessarily. They still exist, but less of them. So it just changes the way that businesses operate from our perspective. And there'll always be more work that gets created from this. I mean,
Right.
even if you think about what they're this new AI bill that was just announced. What is that going to do? Well, it's going to generate more data center builds and power and all these different requirements that are going to have more places for people to go and do those tasks, right? So it may change what you do, but I don't necessarily think
Like
it
it's going to be
replaces.
extinct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's definitely.
I don't have a crystal ball.
We don't have a
either,
crystal
but-
ball. There's
Yeah.
definitely, like, going back to the comment earlier about risk, there's definitely some risks that things will, change,
Right.
right? And society will have to adapt to what that is, right? And hopefully it's for the better. Maybe you have more free time, right? You can do more creative things.
The technology is advancing so fast that we don't really know. And I would say that when I made the comment about the different waves, this is probably the fastest moving of all these waves too. It
Right.
is accelerating so much faster than anything else.
Yeah.
If we
How do
get
you-
to that point, we got to do some real soul searching as to what's important in life at that point, because a lot of people do put their worth in their job, right? I'm a this.
And then you're
Right.
going to have people dating the AI agents, right?
That's already happening.
It's going to be on that. Have you ever seen that My Strange Addiction show where they're like making out with a car?
No.
I mean, at least the AI,
No, I haven't. But
at least the AI agent can talk back, right?
People are naming their agents. We listened to a podcast that we both listened to, and it's like, the guy named his agent
chatbot agent,
Patricia, and Patricia knows him, what he likes. She answers in a certain
She orders
way.
his food from DoorDash
no,
in time.
she's really harsh on him.
Yeah,
Oh, she yells at him?
She's really harsh on him. Yeah.
yeah. But it's funny. But he created that persona because that's what he wanted. So now he has a relationship with his AI agent.
He's like, I don't even want to date anymore. Trish has got me.
But you're not wrong. You're going to see, I mean, the number one use case, we read a study about this a couple of weeks ago, and the number one use case for AI is companionship.
Really?
Especially now that it's become more of a voice versus typing, right? So if
Yeah.
you ever do the voice conversation with it, you ever do that?
No, I just type.
So if you turn on
try talking to
ChatGPT
it.
voice and just have a conversation, it's all recorded
What if I
and
hate her
transcribed.
voice or his
You
voice?
can
change
I'm like,
it. You can change
go
it.
back to
change it.
text.
But if you do it, it does become very natural back and forth. You can interrupt. You can ask it to change paths. So if you just use that in a regular business sense, you could easily see how that would translate to, I had a really rough day at work. hey, my significant other is being a pain in the ass, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Check out.
Well, it's like therapists, but also like almost people who might have like social anxiety. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like online dating
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
someone that
check out.
automatically likes you.
So XAI is the Elon Musk company.
XAI, okay.
And he has they released Grok. Is there
name of
Oh
their
yeah,
AI.
yeah, I've used that one.
So Grok 4 that was just released has these anime personas.
Oh, yeah.
And so you get this anime of this, blonde girl with pigtails on your screen, and you can talk with her, and they have different modes you can put her in.
Oh, right,
You
right.
know,
Yeah, they're
what-
probably on one end of the
One
spectrum.
of those
as
is kind
far
of an
as-
unhinged mode. Well, she'll yell at you and swear at you and whatever. And one of them is the sexy mode.
Yeah.
And it's.
But, I mean,
really
people like
creepy.
both.
It's
Well,
really
that's what I
creepy.
mean. Is they're probably on one end of the spectrum as far as
Yeah.
allowing for that type of interaction versus maybe Claude or Anthropic. That's more like, hey, use this
Yeah.
for productive things.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
But to the point of that industry, I mean,
Whatever
that-
they're monetizing, they don't care. do they?
online anything from a sexual content perspective is a huge industry. So
Oh, for
somebody's
sure.
out there working on it.
It's for sure out
yeah.
there.
Yeah, we've joked about a couple ideas.
Maybe after we get the other two businesses
Yeah, right.
functional.
Yeah.
Then that'll be your next.
You know,
your next one.
OnlyFans, right? Well,
Yeah, is there like?
what-
Isn't there like
what
AI?
about
on there?
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans.
FAINS.
Oh yeah.
Patented, trademarked.
Yeah.
No, that's probably already out there. I mean, maybe not the name.
I don't know.
I ask your AI person. Yours is smarter than mine.
Yeah. Well,
We'll
we
ask
could
them what jobs are getting run out. Where is this? They'll know for sure. How do you think that AI in general is going to affect like kids in schooling? Because like I remember
You
when
have
they're
an
like you
opinion
can't
on
use
it.
Google,
That's
and
my,
now
that's my soapbox.
oh it
for
is?
sure,
Okay,
yeah.
take it away.
Well, I think we're doing kids a huge disservice right now
By not letting them use AI?
by both not letting them use AI, but because of the way that we're still teaching. So
we're teaching on a totally different like planet
we're
than
teaching
AI
to
is,
an
than
yeah,
we're going.
we're teaching the old world ways.
Yeah.
Right. It used to be important to be able to memorize facts because it develops your brain, and that's definitely important, right? Through cognitive development, if you're memorizing things and concepts and understanding and then applying them on a test, that was a way to get your brain to develop. Well, to Scott's point on the internet and mobile revolution, that had already changed leading up to now. You could always ask the pocket square of knowledge, one of the questions that was on your test, and you'd be able to find an answer. Well, now with AI coming into the fold, that's gone 1,000-fold more, right? It can ace every one of the tests that you would have to go get a doctorate in.
Yeah.
So to the point of the average person, it's never going to be as smart, right? You'll never be as smart as the AI that's coming out
I
now.
used it on my coaching certification yesterday, and it got the question wrong.
You did?
Well, it hasn't been fine-tuned on football yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Clearly
that
doesn't
was
know
what it was?
Doesn't know the USA football rules, apparently.
I'm sure we
Oh,
could build a
shoot.
model that passes.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're still saying you can't use all this incredible knowledge that's in this AI, you still have to remember, what the fact was from history or what the formula was for math, instead of saying, hey, go use it and study and research this and come up with questions. But come back to the classroom and let's talk about things. Let's come up with new and novel ways of looking at it. Let's analyze Shakespeare from a different twist.
Yeah.
And each one of you are required to come up with that twist.
It just changes the way that we need to work and learn.
Yeah.
And actually, it comes back down to the idea of authenticity, too. So I wrote a blog post about this actually right when we started, because I see a lot of people posting about AI is taking away all the creative work. It's doing all these things. And, all this content is AI generated. Well, my take on it is, yeah, it might be AI generated, but look at the company that's producing a blog post. What's the goal of that blog post? It's to get people to read it and to get your name out there as a company to get more traction to your website. So if AI wrote that blog post, does it matter? And also, to get to that, what it's actually written, you have to have enough knowledge to prompt it.
Right. You had to
iterate
give the
with it.
knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I agree that you shouldn't just go out there and use hey, just write this blog post and then use it. You got to iterate with it and understand it.
Make it your own.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of authenticity has completely changed, and I think it ties back into what they're doing in school
it goes.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. It goes back to your point of launching the podcast with it. Like you went and did that. You used it to accomplish that goal, right? So applying that to school, right? Imagine if we challenged the kids in school to, instead of just learning a thing, to go develop something novel. Come up with a way to solve whatever it is in science class. Hey, we've got this problem with global warming, right?
Or
hey,
so, yeah, go
whatever it is. Go figure out novel ways. Go learn about it at your
feel
pace and come up with some solutions.
Right, but it's also like, even if you were going to use Google, half the stuff you read is like a fake article anyways. So my son had to do a research project, and he was like, so what do I do? Just type into Google? I was like, why are you on Google? No. And so I had him go to ChatGPT, and then my mom's like, don't have him do that. And I'm like, why? What if he reads an article and puts information in this that's like not even real?
But that goes back to the critical thinking. Like, okay, analyze what the agent gave you back.
I mean, he still memorized
right.
all of it.
Yeah.
He still did the work. He learned from it, but he just didn't have to read through so many articles. But he's like, I went to school and everybody's like, okay, we're working on this for like the next 2 weeks. And he's like, I'm done.
The
use
other
those
side of that
other
coin.
techniques to get more. Go
Yeah,
deeper.
I know. I was like, you can like go on to other things now. And he's like, well, I only had to do like, it was
Right.
like, I mean, it's a little
That's
kid thing.
exactly
It's
the
like fun
problem.
facts. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah,
anything in depth.
But extrapolate that out to high school, that's the problem.
Yeah,
They're going to be
for
like,
sure.
well, I handed it in.
The
Now
other
I
side
sit
of that-
around for 2 weeks.
I like what you said about how we shouldn't discourage them from using it, but we need to like change the system to match
Yeah,
it.
we've
Because
gotta
it's like one
change how
thing
we're
is
doing
moving
it.
so fast and the rest is like still, decades behind.
cotton-
Well, the teachers
cotton
that are
fast.
just completely against it, and there's a lot of that right now, and they just
Yeah.
say you're not allowed to use it. Well, that's because they don't understand it. And
Right.
that's on them to go learn and figure out how
Or
to
s-
use it and how to teach these kids to be more efficient at what they're doing and how they're going to use it.
Or even get smarter than like what they were going to find if they were just doing it the way they wanted to. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
That's
well,
the
I don't want you to
biggest-
get the answers too fast. But it's like, even if they get the answers quick, then they can do other things with those
Exactly.
answers.
That's my biggest issue with it is when you hear the teachers are just, nope, you can't use it at all.
Yeah.
Don't bring it in. Don't try. Don't talk about it. I'm not saying use it to go write your papers or whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
but using it as a tool to help them. It's no different.
Engage on that
It's no
topic.
different than how things were when we were in college too. I mean, I took a German class and we had to write a paper in German, and I wasn't very good at that, so I wrote it in English and put it in a translator and put the paper in the translator and submitted it back and said, "There's my
thought you
paper."
spoke
And there was
German.
probably a
All
few
these-
things wrong, so it did look like it was
a few
yours.
things wrong, and it was fine. I mean, obviously they probably knew I put it in a translator. Thinking back on it, but now I could do that, and it would come out at least much better
Yeah.
quality.
All these years, I thought you
not-
spoke German.
Oh, well, I could read it. I can't speak it. That's why I never got to go to Germany.
Yeah, well,
You got kicked out of that trip.
Yeah.
yeah, because he cheated.
That's funny.
A
Is there,
minor I have in German.
Google
what's
Translate.
like if you see something and you're like, that's totally AI, like how do you tell?
The double dashes in a post,
Oh yeah, or the rocket ship.
the rocket
Like,
ships
rocket
and
ship?
so
emojis.
the rocket ship emoji.
The emojis, yeah, I noticed the emojis. What's the double slash? Like it's like
the dash dash.
The dash
When-
dash?
Like when they're trying to make a point and they'll say, this thing happened, dash dash. Instead of putting a comma in, they'll put the two dashes and they'll put the next thought.
okay,
That's a telltale sign that it's AI.
too many emojis.
Too many emojis.
I feel
and
like
lots
there's
of
always
dashes.
certain
just,
words,
Not
too.
just too many emojis. The rocket ship.
The rocket
emoji.
ship. In a,
That one's
yeah.
for sure.
Oh,
Is.
for sure. Every time we joke, actually,
We put
them-
it in just when
we-
we're writing posts, just to be
Yeah,
like,
even if we didn't use
Yeah.
AI, we'll put the rocket ship in just to be funny about it. 'cause
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
It's a
always
giveaway.
there, but
I
that's-
feel like for me, it's always like certain words, because I'm like reading real estate descriptions and I'm like, no one is saying boasts. This
Yeah.
kitchen boasts.
Oh, yeah.
Like no, I'm like that's AI. Like there's always like certain words that I'm like, you didn't even change that at all.
Yeah. You got to tell it to put it in your words, and they can learn how
Right.
you speak.
Well,
and then
no,
it'll-
they don't. They're behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
That's a
definitely
big one.
make it speak like you and
The-
give it your tone for sure.
Yeah.
That would be the thing.
Oh, I'll
to
do that all the time. I'm like, can you make this funnier?
Yeah.
Give this a sense of humor. Like I'm bored of it.
Yeah,
The 6 fingers on a hand is another giveaway.
yeah.
It likes to
Yeah,
put too
video-
many fingers
video
on hands.
generation.
in
Wait,
video.
what hands?
Like in
Like
video,
video generation.
generation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's a whole nother world we
I
could go
forgot
down,
about
right?
that.
Yeah.
Like
No, I know. And
the
then
video
they-
generation is
And
becoming
then the captions will be like
incredibly good.
spelled wrong sometimes. Like if it does the auto caption.
That's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, it's gotten better.
It's mind blowing because it used to take a lot of skill and a lot of time and expensive software. Now that's just been reduced to nearly nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a prompt and you get a great quality product out of it. On the flip side of that, that's scary as hell. Right? Because who knows what's real and fake.
I did see a video this morning of a wiener dog jumping on a trampoline, and it looked so realistic.
And you're like,
And then
but
he
that
did a
can't
double
happen.
backflip, and I was like, okay, no.
But
it looked like-
physics don't work.
See, but you caught it.
I caught it, but it was like looked like it was supposed to be their like Ring doorbell camera. So it was already kind of like shitty camera
Yeah.
quality because it was like black and white and like the dogs in the middle of the night. So it looked actually real. And then it did a double backflip, and I'm like, you would have had me.
Well, some people probably were like, wow, we wiener dogs are
I
doing
know.
backflips now, and now we've got a whole subculture in our world that thinks wiener dogs can do backflips.
There's a lot of content being created with Bigfoot and doing as like a reporter.
Yeah.
And they're pretty funny. But you can see them out there. But I mean, people are gonna look at me like, how did that? How did you do that? Like,
Right, and there's probably so many people that have no idea it's AI, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Did you see that Bigfoot was spotted?"
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
again,
look
going back to the education
back to-
system, we need to
Yeah,
step it up
yeah.
a bit.
But think about studios and creating content, and all of the amount of money that would go into making an explosion or something behind
Right.
you. And now it's like, we'll take this picture and put an explosion in the background.
Right.
And it might look
Yeah.
real. It might look bad. You might have to iterate it 10 times, but
Yeah.
at the end, you're going to get a video with a guy running out of a building and exploding behind him.
Yeah, like you didn't actually have
And
to blow up
it
a
didn't
building.
cost me really any money except tokens.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to the everybody can be a creator and everyone can start their own business and everyone can educate themselves on things that you couldn't before, right? It's democratizing a lot of that, which I
Right.
think is
Still
the
need
most
experts.
powerful thing. You still need experts, but A, it's accelerating so quickly, right? And B, now you've got it in the hands of people who wouldn't even think to do it before because they're like, I don't have $10 million
Right,
to
or
make a
I don't
movie.
have. I'm not smart
even
enough to
gonna
do
try.
that. I don't know how to do that.
Right.
I'm not good at that.
So
Right.
democratizing it down to people where like they'll just give it a shot,
Right.
then you don't know where the next genius idea or the next great film is going to come from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is it gives people the ability to do things they couldn't before.
Right, it gives everybody kind of opportunity
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
that they might not have.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild. So your client base is anything from a mom and pop shop to a big corporation. Like, can you give us some examples of different businesses that you guys are working with to really help them, use AI to capitalize and just like streamline everything?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, obviously we have clients that are smaller and we have clients that are larger. It could be as simple as a voice agent all the way to we're building a sales co-pilot for a company. So they're
Technical
reseller.
Okay.
And so we're going to build basically an agent that joins their calls and will listen to the calls and will give their reps pointers on how to sell better to that client based off what the client's saying. So kind of real-time feedback as they're going. It will then analyze that. It will give them full outputs. It's not just taking notes. It's actually doing a lot more intelligence behind it. But we kind of go across every industry right now.
Yeah, but I think I actually like that you guys are kind of in everything because say, it's healthcare and you want to go specifically to a healthcare one, like you're just doing the same thing everybody else is doing.
You get point solutions too.
Yeah.
So that was our biggest argument. Like, okay, cool. You went to that healthcare company. Maybe it's a healthcare voice company. So they do voice for your healthcare business. Maybe they can talk to doctors.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what happens when you want to, integrate your financial system on the back end to be able to make decisions off of? You can't. It's
That
point
stops there.
solution.
Right.
So that's why we're broad, is because we can build use cases across pretty much anything in your business, not just that point solution. There's a ton of AI voice agents. There's a ton of agentic platforms that you can use out there that you can build things off of. But at the end of the day, they're kind of point solutions, and we're encompassing it kind of the broader AI integration
do
into
a
the
little bit
business. We're going to support all different aspects of it. So we're going to push towards our platform and our managed services and building. But again, if there's things that make more sense that are already built, then we'll just implement those for them.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool too because you might see something work really well at like a gym. And then say you go to a restaurant and you're like, okay, this has nothing to do with yours, but I think if you did this, somehow incorporated it into that space, it might work really well there.
Yeah.
Instead of doing the same thing every other restaurant is doing,
The-
because it's like you're getting washed out and you're just another restaurant and all the noise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the gym use case is interesting because we're working with a company right now in that space, and they want to help with their top of funnel. So think about if you go to their website, they're like a real high end type gym. If you go to their website and you fill out the form, well, their goal is to drive you to the gym to go do a tour of it, because then
Right.
that typically leads to converting that
And they can
membership.
show them all the bougie.
Yeah. So
Extras,
what
yeah.
we're going to do is we want to inject AI into that process. So they fill out the form, or they partially fill out the form, and then AI comes in and starts answering questions about it, and they can, kind of understand what the person's doing and understand, the concepts that they're trying to get to. And then ultimately, when we do get them to convert to a tour, it's
You already-
customized to that person. So
Right, you already know their hesitation.
yeah, let's say that person just wants to go lift weights. Well, okay, well, then we're not going to show them the spot. Well, let's customize that tour to go see those things. And then after post-sale, it can then do onboarding of that person. It can be your assistant around the gym. It can tell you
Help with scheduling
things.
classes
It
or
can
whatever,
schedule
right?
classes. It could actually give you workouts to do. There's a lot of things we could take
cool.
and craft,
Yeah.
post just the
Again, from
top of funnel.
a high-end customer-centric business, that's incredible, right? And you can scale. It's not just that you can scale that and not do it with people. but you can do it in a way that's so customized and personalized that it's a
Right.
differentiator.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today and answering all the questions. And I mean, obviously, this is a lot for me to take in because I am not techie, software, any of that. But yeah,
You're further
I mean,
along than most.
well, thanks. Yeah, I mean,
Using
I
it every day
definitely-
is a good start.
I use it every day. I do. I love AI. So thank you for answering all those questions. And I'm sure there's probably so many listeners that are like just intrigued to really dig into this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. We're
The
around.
best thing they
We'd
can
love
do
to have the
is,
conversation.
start, right? Start asking questions, start
Yeah.
using it. If they want to start doing it in their business, we're happy to talk about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome.
It's been awesome.
I hope you learned something from this conversation. You can find their services at helios-core.com. And for their newest platform, mykokoro.ai. Kokoro is spelled Kokoro. I thought it was a Q, so make sure that you're spelling it right when you're looking for it. I will have all the info in the show notes for you. Please pass this on to anybody who you think could benefit from their services. And one last favor, if you could like, subscribe, leave a review, give us a 5-star. This helps just push the show out to new audiences. Again, I'm Brittany Racine with Mike It Loud, and we'll see you next week.